I hit the reset button. I left the label. I got out of a 4-year relationship, and I let go of my entire team. I started completely over with management, all at the same time. I just figured, you know what? When it rains, it pours. You know what I mean? That's always what people say. But also, I felt like if I'm really gonna make this transition and do it the way that I want to do it, I have to do it all the way. I can't just try and hold on to things that make me feel safe and comfortable. If I'm already uncomfortable, I'm gonna be uncomfortable throughout.
Good evening, Bridget Kelly.
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
All good, man. It's been a little while.
It has been a while. But every time I come back, I feel like I haven't left. I haven't been gone for that long.
Do you think that like an artist like yourself has chosen to try and make the UK one of your mainstays in terms of like touring? Because you're here quite often.
I'm here once or twice a year, which is exciting for me because it's a place where people really love my music, and so. This time around, I'm premiering some new stuff. My last tour, I did my EP. I was promoting my EP that I put out last summer of 2017. But this time around, now that the album is finally coming to a close, I'm debuting some new songs on this little short run. So I got about 4 or 5 new songs that no one's heard yet.
Okay, when you say the album is coming to a close, does that mean that locked in, done, mastered?
Almost. It's very exciting.
Really?
Yeah. I'm really excited about it. So, I mean, it's great to have new records to perform with the band and get a feel for it because the market here has been so consistent for me. So, my fans here are really excited about the new records, and why not debut them here and give them a treat?
So, who have you worked with on this new album?
Science did a lot of the production on this, and I worked with Science a long time ago when I first started. We did a lot of stuff for my Every Girl EP in the very beginning when I first signed. With Rock Nation, and so he produced a lot of it. A young kid by the name of Jordan Bratton, who's from New York, also did a couple records with me. So, I mean, those are really the people that I love and I trust and I've grown to really have a really strong rapport with. So, another friend of mine, Drew Scott, is a really talented writer. So we've been doing some writing and stuff together and producing as well. So, it's a lot.
So this is going to come on your own imprint?
Yeah, just an independent project.
So what change? Would you still have like physicals, or just going to be straight digital?
Just digital, Yeah, I figure why spend the money on making physical hard copies when I can use it for other things like touring and promo and shooting videos and things like that. I think are more important.
So the natural thing that people say is, what has actually changed now for you that you're taking control of your career, your destiny, and your music?
That's exactly it. That's all. That's probably the only change that matters, is that I am in complete control. I'm in the driver's seat for the first time. So, I mean, it means that it's a greater risk, but obviously the higher the risk, the greater the reward. So, I think that pressure, the initial pressure when I left the label to really try and get all that stuff together by myself, was really difficult. But once I kind of got into the swing of creating again and writing my own music again, it really felt like, okay, I got a handle on this. I can put something together and release it and have a vision and execute it.
So when you say risk, what would be the risk? Because your talent's not being questioned, and at the time you got signed, they would have seen that you could possibly be in a commodity. So what would have been the risk in your mind, like going independent?
The risk independent is that it won't reach the level and the height of the audience that I would want it to. That's always the risk. Or that it sucks. You know what I mean? Then there's that. Or I could put a project out and nobody really likes it. It pales in comparison to my last project. As a writer, something that The Dream said to me initially when we were first working together was, you're only as big as your latest hit. So it's like you're writing something. Every time you go in to create something, you're creating to make something greater than what you did before every time. If that's not the objective, you're doing it wrong. Like should always be, you're trying to break your own record, and not even just like multi-platinum record or or win a Grammy, but really in your own mind what that means for you to complete something and improve and evolve and grow as an artist.
So how does it work now? So you create music, you're in control. So who do you go back and forth with to get their opinion on your creative output?
Honestly, other artists that I'm friends with, that I'm cool with, that I talk to and try and get some, not just guidance, but just also, reaffirmations that we're doing what we want to do and what we're supposed to do. El Varner is one. A friend of mine, Ro James, is another. He's on the scene. He's new on the scene, I guess, but as a friend and a musician, he's been around for a while. Luke James is another one. Melanie Fiona. think we all, there's a few of us that just kind of keep in touch with each other. We check in every so often just to kind of get a feel for where we're at in our creative process, but also just to do like a mental check-in, like, you okay, everything all right, everything going well. And you know, it's a blessing to have those kind of resources.
Yeah, the mental aspect of things. I think you've been public and speaking about how would you classify it? Would you say it was a breakdown? Would you say it was like you just were just restarting? Would you say like a couple of years ago, was it a breakup and changing your label situation?
I hit the reset button. I left the label. I got out of a 4-year relationship, and I let go of my entire team. I started completely over with management, all at the same time. I just figured, you know what, when it rains, it pours. You know what I mean? That's always what people say. But also, I felt like if I'm really going to make this transition and do it the way that I want to do it, I have to do it all the way. I can't just try and hold on to things that make me feel safe and comfortable. If I'm already uncomfortable, I'm going to be uncomfortable throughout. You know, and that was it wasn't that hard of a decision to make. I did it really impulsively, just very quickly. Everything kind of happened back to back. And then maybe a year and a half ago, mid-album, I was like, you know, I kind of hit like a creative wall, and I felt like I needed to do something a little bit different, and that's how my EP came about. I was in a weird place. I felt like coming to the end of my 20s, and all of my friends that I was growing up with, and everybody was like, oh, we're getting married and we're having kids. I was like, cool story, bro. I'm at happy hour and Taco Tuesday. Very different lifestyle. But I think, you know, I'm a late bloomer just in general, and I find that it's worked to my advantage for most of my life. And I don't think I really accepted and acknowledged that until last year, when I realized, okay, my friends that are married are great, but I also have friends that aren't married that are also great, and they're right where they're supposed to be. And I feel like for me, it's the greatest lesson I've learned is acceptance and being okay with where I am right now.
That coming to 30 for women.
It hit me in the chest. My 30th birthday, they told me, they were like, as soon as midnight hits, you're gonna feel totally different. I felt totally different as soon as I turned 30. As soon as I turned 30, everything started. The metabolism slowed down. I was like, can't eat that cookie. It's going to just sit on the outer thigh pocket. I can't eat it. You know, and just feeling like, okay, I need to really just take myself a little bit more seriously. Take my life a little more seriously. And not in the sense of like, I gotta get married and have babies right now, but just in the sense of really being okay in my own skin and feeling all right with my journey and with my process, and being at peace with it, finding peace and being okay.
You know, when you talk about making all those changes at a rapid rate, you instinctively knew that you had to make those changes. So who were the people that obviously your mum said, so who were the people who were like pillars for you during that time when you were making those changes?
Definitely my mother. And I had some friends that really were my support system. I have a few really close friends that I am beyond grateful to have in my life, that really kept me together, held me together. We're like, listen, you can cry for a little bit, get it out of your system, and then pick yourself up, and we got to keep it trucking. So I definitely think, you know, my mother is a huge support, is my biggest supporter. So to have her sort of in my corner and be such a strong have such a strong presence in my life has definitely kept me out of trouble.
Talk about this, your fitness. You know, if someone's on your Instagram, you're really going hard and
I have been, trying.
What triggered that? Have you always been into fitness?
I always love to work out, but I think I also love to eat. So now it's just a maintenance thing. I think for a while I ran a half marathon 2 years ago, and I felt like I needed to set that kind of a goal and just accomplish it. I trained for like a month and a half. I didn't even train for like that long. It was like a month and a half. I'd never ran in my life. I just said, okay, I'm gonna just do this 13.1 miles and call it a day. And I went really hard, and really just to test myself, to see how consistent I could be with something new. I really thought that was going to be not even something hard. The idea of doing something hard, I mean, everything in this industry, in this life is hard, but to really commit to that, I could not cheat that run. Like, in order to train properly and get the time that I wanted, the way that I wanted, I couldn't, no matter how crazy and spastic and sporadic my schedule was, I couldn't cheat my run. So even if I had to go out and be at an event and network and, kiss babies and shake hands at an event the night before, I still had to get up the next day and run 8 miles. There's no way around it. So, that training process for me was a testament to how determined I was to break free of whatever emotional strongholds I felt like had me kind of boggled down in my 6 years at a label, and also in a relationship, and also with a team of people that you know, I had outgrown.
Do you know what's interesting is to hear that you were at the label for like 6 years. An artist friend told me that it became harder and harder for him to create when it's like the music isn't coming out. You know, I'm recording something that I think is great. I'm passing it over to. So how does that work out then? Like for 6 years, like it must affect your creativity, or does it?
It does. I think honestly though, it's more detrimental to the relationships that you build as an artist, because a lot of times the beautiful thing about being a part of a label is you are a part of a network. So you get to branch out and meet other creative people, other producers, other writers that want to be a part of your process, that really believe in what you're doing, and they want to be a part of it. But it almost works against you when you're a part of a label that doesn't necessarily have a plan for you, because then people don't want to invest because they feel like, well, this label situation is probably going to screw you over at some point, or it may never come out. The stuff for the project may never come out, so I don't want to invest my time and my energy and my creativity to this, knowing that without it being your fault as the artist, the system is going to find a way to work against you. And I think that was very detrimental for me at Roc Nation, working with so many incredible people that, you know, I was able to build relationships with, but the working relationships kind of fell apart because we would do songs and be in the studio for weeks at a time, and 2 years later we're kind of like, oh yeah, remember that song that we did? And it's kind of, you know, to ask them to go back in or try and work again, it's kind of like, well, they're not getting paid for their time, and we don't really know, you know, what's going to happen with the release of the project. So I think that aspect can be really frustrating as an artist, which I realized upon leaving the label, that I built relationships with people that really did believe in what I was trying to do, which I think is why I've been able to make the strides I've been able to make with my music and create different projects and be able to finish things, is because I can circle back around now and say, well, this is what's happening, and be honest about the process and know what it is and be upfront and transparent, so that there's no smoke and mirrors. You know what I mean? With an independent artist, you know what you're going to get. Either you believe or you don't. Either you're down to ride or you're not. And I think that, you know, putting that all on the table in the very beginning, it makes it easier for people to decide whether or not they want to be down or be a part of it, or if it's for a superficial reason. I also got to see what people in the industry really only were rocking with me because of my affiliation. You know what I mean? That me leaving the label publicly definitely, you know, separated and distinguished between people that were real and people that weren't.